usual at this time, it's Rotus. Good morning.
Good morning, Folu.
Excellent. Great to have you here. And Lagos, great to have you as well. Don't forget to ask the questions and the comments via WhatsApp on 0809-444-0981. But also tweet at us. Just use the hashtag BusinessExpress981.
Thank you. So, sharp drop yesterday in the markets, 1.49%, basically a 1.5% drop yesterday. 34,414 points is where we closed. That's a new 52-week low for the Nigerian stock exchange. So, you guys know every time I talk about the year-to-date returns on the exchange, that, by the way, has jumped to 10%. But so going back all the way to last year, so that's a new low that's been set, 0.93%. Mutual benefits assurance. So, things to discuss. First of all, what's going on in emerging markets and how much longer this could continue. Somebody asked me yesterday, Rotus, what's a good bellwether in Nigeria to tell what's going on around the world? The Naira or the stock exchange? Same question, because if you guys look at what's been happening, a number of emerging market currencies have been getting hammered. Yes. And the thing is, for each country that you look at, the first thing that's been pointed to is their currency. The first domino was Argentina's peso and Turkey's lira. Those are the first two currencies that dropped pretty heavily over the past few months. Then there was also Indonesia, the latest ones that have actually come into play now. I think the rupiah was how many months, and that's simply because of the central bank's moves that they've been making to keep the currency stable. However, if you use the stock, that's been more of a better indicator of what's been going on. Okay. Like we see what happened yesterday. Okay. So it's something that with where things are going right now, folks actually don't see any of these falls abating anytime soon. For example, the United States. And by the way, Donald Trump is one of the reasons for our problems. Let me just
he's
put
a reason for a lot of problems,
yes.
even in his White House.
Exactly. He's in the trade war that he has started with China. They've announced, I think, another $200 billion or so of tariffs on imports coming in, or so tariffs on $200 billion more. Right. That's causing a lot of investors around the world to say, hey, look, if these guys are going to be affecting what's happening with companies, I might as well just remove my money from emerging markets, and I don't want to face any major losses. I have a surprise guest.
Yes, indeed.
In the studio.
Ugo Dre, welcome this
morning. Ugo Dre, between the Naira and I don't know if you agree, between the Naira and the stock exchange, which one is a better bellwether for what's been going on around the world? The Naira hasn't moved. CBN has been really stepping in heavily, so no one can get any clues from there.
The stock exchange, obviously.
Yeah. I saw you guys have a story in Nairametrics. You're saying that now is probably a good time for people to sell stocks. You actually came out, you're still sticking with that.
Yeah. August was really terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was very, very, very bad month. I mean, August is typically a bad month, and September is looking like it's going to be another very, very bad month. So
exactly.
You have to be very careful right now. You're investing in stocks. Very, very careful.
Tough.
And stocks actually haven't bottomed out yet.
Thank you. Yeah, that's another thing. Folks are saying that, look, with what's going on around the world, there is no actual indication that anything is going to let up anytime soon.
Yeah.
Now what?
I saw something on social media yesterday. Someone was saying that it's no longer Brits. That is brats.
Brats. What the acronym? Yeah. Are they including Argentina?
BRICS, right?
Yeah.
Brats.
So who is?
They declare Argentina, of course.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
And Turkey.
Argentina has been. So that's
imagine
Brazil,
markets,
Russia.
Yeah. So okay. Brazil, Russia, Argentina, Turkey, and South Africa. So like those countries are really in turmoil right now. So and those are big boys for emerging markets. So if those countries are bleeding, then it's obvious Nigeria will bleed as well at the stock market, that is. But of course, the exchange rate, we all know who's controlling that.
Exactly.
Right? Positive news coming in, guys. Just
it's something else.
Enthusiasm.
All right. If you are a MSME, which is a micro, small, and medium enterprise, the LSETF has opened a new window for lending. It opened this Monday, and it's closing, I believe, at the end of the month. So I think anywhere from 100 to up to 500,000 naira for those of you in that space. If you're looking for funding, you can go to their website. What's their website again?
LSETF.ng.
Yeah, so you can go there, apply.
Interest rates are not bad too. 5%.
5% interest rate. That's it. I wish
That's some kind of subsidy you have there.
which is not bad, right? But there's
like single digits interest rate.
Yes, well, I've been pushing for that forever. But there's a number of requirements that you have to have, before you to support your application with the LSETF, correct?
Yeah.
So your taxes, make sure you
training certificate and all that. Yeah.
Good stuff. So that closes.
So for those who want to do side hustle, it's a good. Cause I have a few friends who are doing this, and they also have their regular 9-to-5 jobs.
Yeah.
And they also got this loan for their side hustle. So probably for maybe a dry cleaning business, a washerman business, a barbing salon, anything really.
Yeah, can get in there.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a few messages that have come through. Dami O says, sell to who, please? Hello. What are we selling to?
They're always going to be buyers.
Always. It's a market.
Lana says, am I the only one now happy secretly that South Africa is in recession?
This beef the Nigerians have with other countries,
Yeah, they have it with us too. Don't worry. It's reciprocal. Gwenga Kamu says, where is the government going to get 6 billion to spend on its health plan in the next 5 years?
Health plan. Infrastructure. What else does the government to spend on? The airline they want to float in December. That one we haven't forgotten that one. Where will the money come from?
China.
China. By the way, speaking of China, they announced that they're going to, after the 328 million naira, after the 328 million dollar deal they signed with President Buhari, the MOU, they announced another $10 billion to African nations for the rest of the year. Ugo Dre, do you have any concerns along with Madam Ezekwesili about the borrowing from China? Any that you have?
Well, I mean, like China is doubling down on its kind of economic diplomacy in Africa.
Yeah.
And what they're doing now is basically what the West did, like, some decades back. So I really don't know why we're having all this trouble. So the West would probably typically use their own machinery, which is the World Bank, IMF, or maybe direct funding from USAID or whatever agency that you have. So China has its own, mechanism, which is what it's doing now. So its own trade. So, but unlike the West, where they basically sort of like invest directly through companies, or maybe give you money in exchange for some kind of reforms and stuff like that. China doesn't do that. China won't ask for all those reforms or all those strings. China just brings in money, except that China would sort of have its own companies come in there and provide maybe the services that you need that funding for. So that's basically how they do their own funding. So I mean, to me, it's neither here nor there. I mean, like if funding is coming from the West, it has its own pitfalls as well. Right. Yeah. So and my aversion to EHN.
Yes, of course.
So I don't like economic heat, man.
We've got more messages have come through. Chidi says, listen, why won't market prices keep dropping when your regulators aimlessly hit international companies? The international investor sentiment in Nigeria is very negative. So let's forget about FDI until our regulators drop politically motivated moves on most foreign multinationals. I'm tired of this country.
That's actually prompts my next story, but go ahead.
Tokwe says, trader money in call, what is the sense in it?
Tokwe. Okay. So the trader money
somebody's asking what's the loan website again?
LSET. Let me check. LSETF.ng, www.lsetf.ng.
Oluzil asked for advice. He says, listen, Ugo Dre, you're advising to sell, but I thought this would be a buyer's territory with the year's outlook, at least for returns. Please advise yours truly.
Yeah, so, in this market, there's this saying that, you basically buy when others are selling and then sell when others are buying. Yes, but like I said, it hasn't bottomed out yet. We don't think it's bottomed out. I mean, a lot of stocks are cheap, right? You can buy a stock today that is trading at 5 times price earnings ratio, maybe trading at say 10 naira, and it's actually cheap. But guess what? There is nothing stopping that stock from still trading at 6 naira 2 weeks from now.
Right.
I mean, it's just crazy. So you're in a crazy market, so you got to be very careful. But at the end of the day, if you see a stock that you think is really, really cheap, right, regardless of what the market gyration is, just go in, buy, and then keep it and just wait.
And hold.
You're going to take some losses in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to
bounce back.
You bounce back definitely.
All right, Ugo Dre, this next, since somebody has mentioned regulators going after international companies, we all know who we're talking about. So there's this financial journalist. Of course, I have to say he's from South Africa, so we know where his sentiments lie. But his name is Bruce Whitfield. He's a pretty popular guy over there. He wrote a piece saying it's time for MTN to hang up on Nigeria, which is a clever play on words with phones. But he's saying that it's not worth the trouble with all the the customer base, of course, they are the largest customer base in Africa and so on. Excuse me, in Nigeria, compared to other countries. He's saying they should pack up and just go. If they cannot, they should stick to their guns. If negotiations fall south, they should leave. It's easier said than done. But where do you stand on that?
Well, that's why he's a journalist and he's not a businessman,
right?
A behemoth like MTN. So it's not that easy. You just don't pack up and go. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of sentiment, emotional attachment to all these issues. I mean, for us, we don't really like the fact that government is going against businesses regardless of what they do. I mean, there are better ways of handling this issue.
Right.
However, for MTN as well, they're a business. And they have a lot of pension funds in there, so they don't want value accretion. So it's not easy just leaving. Think about it. Nigeria contributes about a third of MTN's, about 29% or so of MTN's revenue, and about 30% of MTN's EBITDA. So Nigeria is huge for MTN, and in terms of growth, data growth especially, Nigeria is basically paving the way. So it's not just it's basically like shutting down the business.
Yeah.
Right. So, but Nigeria is neck and neck with South Africa in terms of revenue. For revenue for the MTN group in total. So if you take Nigeria out, and what else does MTN have? You know what I mean? So these are companies that basically thrive by expanding into other countries. So it's not just okay to have MTN in South Africa, because if there's only MTN in South Africa, then there's actually no growth. So growth for them is spreading beyond
expansion.
borders. Yeah. And for cell phone companies like MTN, growth is actually in the numbers. The more the population, the more growth that they can have. So Nigeria is a huge market for them. I don't see any of this leading to them having to exit. There are a lot of things they can still explore. I don't think they've explored diplomatic ties yet. I don't think the president, sometimes the president of South Africa probably just need to put a call through President Buhari, and maybe they can space out, over the phone. So there are a lot of things that they haven't done yet. So I don't think it's that easy. I mean, even all the companies in Nigeria, we've been coming at them for years.
And they're still here.
And they're still here, right? Yeah. So it's not that easy, guys.
All right.
They're great anytime soon.
Good stuff. For any more messages?
Yes, we do have a couple more. Gwenga Kamu says, will we ever be able to produce mass products for our population the way we cuddle China, who depend on exports to countries like ours?
Good question. Good
We're
question.
hoping too.
And Damio says, I strongly feel that someone in this government is about to pull the ice juice on MTN. Hashtag billion. Anyways, that's all we've got time.
Your messages, guys. Thank you. Ugo Dre, thanks for popping in. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Coming up next, we've got some great music for you. And then, of course, 7:30, We Talk Freshly Pressed at 981. That's at 7:30. Keep listening to Smooth Breakfast.
You knew Stanley wasn't coming, have you? You knew